Picture this: Fort Davidson, Montana. Early morning mist rolls across the training grounds as elite Army Rangers prepare for their most grueling assessment of the year. These are America's finest men and women who've earned their place through blood, sweat, and unwavering determination. Each one carries themselves with a confidence that comes from knowing they're among the best soldiers in the world. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The obstacle course stretches before them like a concrete and steel nightmare. 30-foot rope climbs, mud crawls under barbed wire, precision shooting stations, and endurance tests that would break ordinary people. This isn't just training, it's a proving ground where reputations are forged and legends are born. Sergeant Mike Thompson, a mountain of a man standing 6'4" with arms like tree trunks, adjusts his gear and surveys the competition. To his left, Staff Sergeant Jessica Martinez loads her rifle with the practiced efficiency of someone who's seen combat in 3 different theaters. Behind them, Corporal David Chen stretches his powerful frame, muscles rippling under his tactical vest. These aren't weekend warriors. These are operators who've walked through fire and emerged stronger. They've cleared buildings in Baghdad, hunted insurgents in Afghanistan, and executed precision strikes in places whose names never make the evening news. Each carries scars, visible and invisible, that tell stories of courage under impossible circumstances. But then something unexpected happens. A figure appears at the edge of the training ground, barely visible through the morning haze. At first, nobody pays attention. Supply personnel, medics, and support staff move around the base constantly. It's background noise in the symphony of military preparation. The figure moves closer, and details begin to emerge. Small frame, maybe 5'2" at most. Slender build that would look more at home in a college library than on a military installation. No tactical gear, no weapon visible, no obvious rank insignia or unit identification. Just standard-issue fatigues that seem to hang loose on a frame that appears almost fragile in this environment of human weapons. Sergeant Thompson notices first, mainly because the figure is walking directly toward the starting line of their assessment course. He nudges Martinez, who glances over and raises an eyebrow. The newcomer's stride is steady, purposeful, but there's something almost delicate about the way they move. No swagger, no military bearing that would indicate special operations background. "Who's the kid?" Thompson mutters, using the term that pops into his head automatically. The approaching figure looks young, fresh-faced, with the kind of clean features that suggest they've never been in a real fight, never felt the weight of life-or-death decisions, never stared down the barrel of an enemy rifle. Chen joins the observation, and within moments, a small crowd of Rangers has formed, all watching this unlikely addition to their group. These are people trained to assess threats and capabilities instantly. They read body language, like others read newspapers. And everything they see tells them the same story. This person doesn't belong here. The physique alone tells a story of someone who might struggle with the basic physical requirements. While every Ranger present carries the kind of muscle mass that comes from years of intensive training, their newcomer appears to have the build of someone whose idea of heavy lifting might involve moving furniture. Arms that look like they'd struggle with a standard pull-up, shoulders that seem narrow, even in the loose-fitting uniform. Maybe they're lost, Martinez suggests, though there's curiosity in her voice. Getting lost on a military base isn't exactly common, especially not wandering directly into a Ranger assessment area. Security checkpoints, clear signage, and multiple personnel would typically redirect anyone who didn't belong. The figure continues approaching, now close enough that facial features become clear, youthful, with the kind of smooth complexion that suggests someone in their early 20s, maybe younger. No visible scars from combat. No weathered look that comes from years of field operations. Instead, there's an almost academic appearance, like someone who's spent more time with books than bullets. But there's something else, something harder to define. The way they move suggests confidence, not the false bravado of someone trying to prove themselves, but the quiet assurance of someone who knows exactly where they're going and why. The stride never wavers, never shows hesitation or second-guessing. Corporal Amy Rodriguez, a demolitions expert who earned her reputation clearing IEDs in Syria, watches with growing fascination. She's developed a sixth sense about people, particularly in identifying those who might be more than they appear. Something about this approaching figure triggers that instinct, though she can't quite put her finger on what. Command didn't mention adding anyone to the roster, Chen observes, checking his watch. The assessment is scheduled to begin in 15 minutes, and late additions aren't part of standard protocol. Ranger training operates with precision timing, and unexpected variables usually mean someone made a mistake. The figure reaches the equipment staging area and begins examining the gear laid out for participants. Standard issue rifle, tactical vest, climbing equipment, navigation tools, all the hardware that transforms ordinary people into precision instruments of warfare. But the examination isn't casual browsing. There's a systematic quality to it, the kind of methodical inspection that suggests deep familiarity with military equipment. Thompson decides to address the situation directly. He approaches with the confident stride of someone accustomed to being in charge, his imposing presence typically enough to resolve most misunderstandings quickly. "You lost, soldier?" he asks, using a tone that's not unfriendly but clearly establishes the hierarchy. The question carries an assumption that this person has wandered into the wrong place and needs gentle redirection back to wherever they actually belong. The figure looks up, meeting Thompson's gaze directly. No intimidation, no deference to his obvious physical superiority or senior rank. Just steady eye contact and a slight smile that suggests the question is amusing rather than concerning. "Not lost," comes the response, voice calm and clear. "I'm exactly where I need to be." The accent is pure American, with a kind of neutral tone that could come from anywhere in the country. No regional markers that might provide clues about background or training, but there's something in the delivery. A precision in word choice that suggests careful thought behind every syllable. Martinez joins the growing circle of observers, her curiosity now fully engaged. She's seen enough new recruits and transfers to recognize the signs of someone trying to prove themselves. The nervous energy that typically accompanies stepping into an elite unit, but none of those indicators are present here. "Assessment roster's been set for weeks," she points out, crossing her arms. "Are you sure you're supposed to be here?" The newcomer reaches into a pocket and produces a folded paper, official military stationery with proper seals and signatures. Not photocopied or hastily prepared, but the real thing, with the kind of bureaucratic weight that carries authority. The transfer orders are legitimate, properly processed through channels, bearing the signature of someone with enough rank to make things happen. But transfer orders don't explain the obvious mismatch between this person's appearance and the nature of Ranger training. Elite special operations units don't typically recruit people who look like they'd be more comfortable in a classroom than a combat zone. Rodriguez examines the paperwork over Martinez's shoulder, noting the proper formatting and authentication codes. Everything appears legitimate, which only deepens the mystery. Someone with enough authority to cut these orders clearly believes this person belongs here, despite all evidence to the contrary. "Previous unit?" Thompson asks, though he's already scanning the orders for that information. "Classified assignment," comes the response, delivered without drama or emphasis. Just a simple statement of fact, the kind of answer that shuts down further questions while revealing nothing useful. The Rangers exchange glances, each processing this new information through their own experience with military bureaucracy and special operations culture. Classified assignments cover a broad spectrum, from intelligence work to technical specialties that never see direct combat. But none of those typically lead to Ranger assessment. Chen checks his watch again, noting that other participants are beginning to gather for the pre-assessment briefing. The morning schedule won't wait for mystery personnel or unusual circumstances. Either this person participates or they don't, but the training continues regardless. "Equipment check in 5 minutes," he announces, though his eyes remain on the newcomer. "Hope you brought your appetite for pain." The statement carries the weight of experience, a warning about what lies ahead. Ranger assessment isn't designed to be survived by everyone who attempts it. The physical demands alone eliminate most candidates, and the mental pressure breaks many of those who remain. But instead of the expected nervousness or bravado, the response is a simple nod of acknowledgement. No questions about what to expect, no requests for advice or preparation tips. Just quiet acceptance of what's coming, as if the challenge ahead is already understood and accepted. The morning sun climbs higher, burning off the last of the mist and revealing the full scope of the obstacle course ahead. 30 other Rangers complete their equipment checks, each one a proven warrior with combat experience and specialized training. They represent the pinnacle of American military capability, hand-picked for this assessment based on demonstrated excellence. And among them stands one small figure who doesn't fit any of the expected patterns, carrying orders that reveal nothing and displaying confidence that seems to have no obvious foundation. In 15 minutes, they'll all face the same brutal challenges that have defeated countless others. But none of them yet realize that appearances can be the most dangerous deception of all, and that sometimes the most extraordinary capabilities come wrapped in the most ordinary packages. The assessment is about to begin, and with it, a revelation that will challenge everything these elite soldiers think they know about strength, skill, and the true meaning of being a warrior. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The assessment briefing takes place in a concrete amphitheater that's seen thousands of hopeful candidates over the years. Master Sergeant William Harrison stands at the podium, his weathered face bearing the map of 2 decades in special operations. Behind him, a large screen displays the course layout in unforgiving detail. "Gentlemen and ladies," Harrison begins, his voice carrying the gravelly authority of someone who survived everything the military can throw at a person. "What you're about to undertake isn't just a test of your physical capabilities. It's a comprehensive evaluation of your mental resilience, tactical thinking, and ability to perform under extreme duress." The assembled Rangers listen with the focused attention of professionals. These aren't recruits hearing about military life for the first time. Every person in this room has already proven themselves in combat situations, earned their place through demonstrated competence under fire. Yet they know that Ranger assessment operates on a different level entirely. Phase 1 begins with a 12-mile forced march carrying full combat load, Harrison continues, clicking to the next slide. 60-pound rucksack, weapon, ammunition, water, and emergency equipment. The standard time limit is 3 hours. Those who fall behind don't continue. Murmurs ripple through the crowd as participants mentally calculate pace requirements and energy management strategies. 12 miles in 3 hours while carrying 60 pounds isn't impossible, but it requires sustained effort and intelligent pacing. Too fast early on leads to burnout. Too conservative means missing the cutoff. The small figure sits in the back row, listening without taking notes or asking questions. While others pull out notebooks or smartphones to record key details, there's no apparent effort to capture the briefing information. Either perfect memory or complete confidence, though the Rangers around them can't determine which. Staff Sergeant Marcus Powell, a communications specialist who survived the Battle of Ramadi, glances back periodically. He's trying to reconcile the official transfer orders with what he observes. Military bureaucracy makes mistakes, but not usually ones this obvious. Someone, somewhere, made a decision to include this person, and Powell's curiosity about the reasoning grows stronger with each passing minute. Phase 2 involves individual navigation through unmarked terrain, Harrison explains, advancing to a topographical map. 12 checkpoints scattered across 40 square miles of Montana wilderness. No GPS, no electronic aids, just compass, map, and your ability to read terrain. Miss more than 2 checkpoints, you're eliminated. The navigation phase traditionally eliminates more candidates than the physical challenges. Reading terrain requires experience that can't be learned from textbooks. Understanding how valleys channel wind, how vegetation patterns indicate water sources, how subtle elevation changes affect visibility and movement, these skills develop over years of field operations. Corporal Lisa Bennett, a reconnaissance specialist with 3 combat tours, studies the map intently. She's navigated through Afghan mountains and Iraqi deserts, but Montana wilderness presents its own unique challenges. Dense forest, unpredictable weather, terrain that can shift from gentle slopes to treacherous ravines without warning. The mysterious newcomer shows no visible reaction to the navigation requirements, no apparent concern about the complexity or potential elimination rate. Either supreme confidence or complete naivete, though Bennett's instincts suggest the former, despite the evidence of her eyes. Phase 3 brings us to marksmanship evaluation, Harrison continues, and this section draws the most intense attention from the assembled Rangers. Multiple weapon systems, various ranges, different environmental conditions. Standards aren't just about accuracy, they're about consistency under pressure. The shooting requirements would challenge Olympic marksmen. Rifle accuracy at ranges exceeding 800 meters. Pistol precision in close-quarters scenarios. shotgun effectiveness, and breaching operations. But the real test comes from combining these skills with physical exhaustion, time pressure, and environmental factors designed to simulate combat stress. Sergeant Thompson shifts uncomfortably in his seat, glancing again at the figure in the back row. His specialty involves precision shooting in urban environments, skills developed through countless hours of training and real-world application. The idea of someone with no apparent military background attempting these challenges seems almost insulting to the sacrifices made by genuine operators. Moving targets, multiple threat scenarios, limited ammunition, Harrison elaborates. You'll engage threats while under simulated enemy fire, make split-second decisions about civilian versus combatant identification, and maintain accuracy while moving through varied terrain. These aren't paper targets at a comfortable shooting range. The marksmanship phase employs sophisticated simulators that replicate the chaos of actual combat. Incoming fire sounds, explosions, smoke, shouting voices, all designed to create the kind of sensory overload that destroys concentration and reveals who can perform when everything goes wrong. Master Sergeant Patricia Coleman, an urban warfare instructor who earned her reputation in Fallujah, nods approvingly at the requirements. She's seen too many soldiers who performed perfectly in training but froze when real bullets started flying. This assessment attempts to identify those potential failures before they become battlefield casualties. The small figure in the back maintains the same calm demeanor, showing no signs of intimidation or concern about the marksmanship requirements. Either extraordinary confidence or dangerous delusion, though Coleman's experience suggests that anyone delusional wouldn't have made it this far through military bureaucracy. Phase 4 tests your tactical thinking under extreme conditions, Harrison explains, advancing to scenarios that make the previous challenges look straightforward. Hostage rescue simulations, explosive ordnance disposal, medical evacuation under fire, and leadership decisions with incomplete information. The tactical phase separates true warriors from highly trained athletes. Physical capability and technical skills matter, but they're worthless without the judgment to apply them correctly. Split-second decisions with life-or-death consequences, leadership under pressure, moral choices with no perfect answers. Captain James Morrison, an intelligence officer who's planned operations across 4 continents, studies the tactical scenarios with professional interest. He's seen brilliant soldiers fail because they couldn't adapt when plans fell apart, and he's seen average soldiers succeed through superior decision-making under pressure. The mysterious participant shows no visible reaction to the tactical requirements either. No note-taking, no questions, no signs of preparation or concern. Morrison's analytical mind processes this information, trying to determine whether he's observing confidence or ignorance, preparation or naive optimism. Throughout all phases, you'll be evaluated on leadership potential, Harrison adds, and this draws sharp attention from everyone present. How you interact with teammates, support struggling colleagues, make decisions that affect others. Rangers don't operate alone, and individual excellence means nothing without the ability to elevate team performance. Leadership evaluation complicates every other challenge. It's not enough to complete the obstacles, navigate successfully, shoot accurately, or solve tactical problems. Candidates must do all of this while demonstrating the character traits that separate followers from leaders, technicians from warriors. Sergeant First Class Robert Hayes, a team leader who's guided soldiers through urban combat in Mosul, understands the complexity this adds. Every action gets scrutinized for leadership potential. How you help a struggling teammate, how you communicate under stress, how you make decisions that affect others, all become part of the assessment. The figure in the back row listens to the leadership requirements with the same calm attention given to every other aspect of the briefing. No visible nervousness about being evaluated on team interaction or decision-making under pressure. Either remarkable composure or concerning lack of understanding about what lies ahead. The equipment issue begins in 30 minutes, Harrison concludes. Standard combat load, assigned weapons, navigation tools, and emergency supplies. Questions? Hands shoot up around the amphitheater as Rangers seek clarification on specific requirements, time limits, and evaluation criteria. These are professional soldiers, asking professional questions, seeking every possible advantage through better understanding of the challenges ahead. But the mysterious newcomer asks nothing. No questions about equipment specifications, scoring criteria, or clarification of requirements. Either complete understanding of what's involved, or dangerous overconfidence about abilities that remain unproven. As the briefing concludes and rangers begin filing out toward equipment issues, conversations buzz with speculation and assessment. These are people trained to evaluate threats and capabilities, and they're struggling to categorize what they've observed. $50 says they don't make it past the forced march, Thompson mutters to Martinez, though his voice carries more confusion than certainty. I'm not taking that bet, she replies, watching the small figure move toward the equipment area with that same steady, purposeful stride. Something doesn't add up here. Powell joins the conversation, still puzzled by the contradiction between appearance and situation. Transfer orders were legitimate, but from where? And why assign someone to Ranger assessment if they've never been through basic special operations training? Chen shakes his head, equally baffled. Maybe it's some kind of test for us. See how we react to unusual circumstances. Evaluate our team cohesion when faced with unexpected variables. The speculation continues as Rangers collect their equipment, each trying to solve the puzzle of their mysterious addition. Some dismiss the newcomer as an administrative error that will correct itself during the first challenge. Others sense something deeper, though they can't identify what triggers that instinct. Rodriguez finds herself watching the equipment selection process with growing curiosity. The small figure handles weapons with familiarity, adjusts tactical gear with practiced efficiency, selects navigation tools with purposeful intent, not the fumbling uncertainty of someone encountering military equipment for the first time. They know what they're doing with that rifle, she observes to Bennett, noting the smooth, automatic movements of someone performing familiar tasks. Weapons handling can be learned anywhere, Bennett replies, though her tone suggests doubt about her own explanation. Doesn't mean they can use it effectively under pressure. But both women notice details that contradict the simple explanation. The way the mysterious figure adjusts the rifle sling for optimal carrying position during long movements, how they test the tactical vest's weight distribution and make subtle modifications for better balance. Small indicators of someone with extensive field experience. Equipment issue continues with military efficiency, each Ranger receiving identical loadouts designed to eliminate any advantage from superior personal gear. Standard weapons, ammunition, navigation tools, emergency supplies, everything needed to complete the assessment phases successfully. The small figure accepts the equipment without complaint or requests for modifications, though observers notice careful inspection of every item. Not paranoid checking, but the systematic verification of someone who understands that equipment failure can mean mission failure, and mission failure can mean death. 31 Rangers complete equipment issues and begin final preparations for the assessment's opening phase. 30 of them represent the cream of American military capability, proven warriors with combat experience and specialized training that took years to develop. And one remains an enigma, carrying official orders that reveal nothing, displaying confidence that seems to have no foundation, and showing competence with military equipment that contradicts every other observable characteristic. In 20 minutes, they'll all begin the forced march that starts their journey toward potential selection or certain elimination. The Montana wilderness doesn't care about reputations, previous accomplishments, or bureaucratic mysteries. It only responds to competence, preparation, and the kind of determination that can push human capability beyond normal limits. But none of the experienced Rangers yet realize they're about to witness something that will challenge their fundamental assumptions about strength, skill, and the nature of true warrior capability. The assessment is about to begin, and with it, revelations that will force them to reconsider everything they thought they knew about military excellence. The starting line materializes out of morning shadows as 31 Rangers form up in loose formation. Each carries 60 pounds of equipment distributed across tactical, vest, rucksack, and weapon systems. The weight represents everything needed for extended field operations: ammunition, water, medical supplies, communication equipment, and survival gear. Master Sergeant Harrison checks his chronometer while evaluating the assembled group. Over 15 years of conducting these assessments, he's developed an eye for identifying potential failures before the first step gets taken. Body language reveals preparation levels, equipment positioning indicates experience, and facial expressions often telegraph mental readiness or hidden doubts. The mysterious newcomer stands third from the left, equipment properly distributed and weapon positioned for optimal carry during extended movement. No fidgeting with straps, no last-minute adjustments, no visible signs of anxiety about the challenge ahead. Either exceptional preparation or dangerous overconfidence. 12 miles, 3 hours, full combat load, Harrison announces. Route follows established trails for the first 6 miles, then transitions to unmarked terrain for the remainder. Navigation markers will be minimal after mile 8. Stay with the pace, maintain proper spacing, and remember that this is an individual assessment, not a team exercise. Thompson secures his rucksack's final strap and glances sideways at the small figure beside him. Up close, the physical disparity becomes even more pronounced. Thompson's shoulders span nearly twice the width. His arms show the kind of muscle development that comes from years of intensive training, and his tactical vest fits snugly across a chest built for carrying heavy loads over long distances. By contrast, the mysterious participant appears almost childlike in comparison. The tactical vest hangs somewhat loose despite proper adjustment, suggesting a frame that wasn't designed for carrying military equipment. The rucksack, while properly secured, seems to dwarf the narrow shoulders that must bear its weight for the next 12 miles. Movement begins in 60 seconds, Harrison calls out, and Rangers make final equipment checks with the automatic efficiency of people who've performed these routines thousands of times. Martinez adjusts her hydration system's tube for easy access during movement. Years of desert operations taught her that dehydration kills performance faster than any other factor, and Montana's elevation compounds the challenge. She's calculated water consumption rates, planned intake intervals, and identified early warning signs of heat exhaustion. The small figure makes no similar preparations. No water system adjustment, no gear repositioning, no apparent concern about hydration management during extended physical exertion. Either supreme confidence in preparation or dangerous lack of understanding about physiological requirements for sustained performance. 30 seconds, Harrison announces, and the formation tightens slightly as Rangers shift into starting positions. Powell studies the terrain ahead through binoculars, identifying potential challenge points and planning pace management strategies. The first 6 miles follow established trails with gentle elevation changes, allowing for steady progress and rhythm development. Miles 7 through 12 transition into wilderness terrain with steeper grades, uncertain footing, and navigation challenges. Chen flexes his shoulders, testing rucksack positioning one final time. At 6'1" with a runner's build, he's optimized his equipment distribution for sustained movement over varied terrain. Every pound has been considered, every strap adjusted for maximum efficiency during the hours ahead. The mysterious participant makes no similar final preparations. No equipment testing, no positioning adjustments, no visible concern about the physical demands ahead, standing motionless with that same calm composure that's characterized every interaction since arrival. 10 seconds, Harrison calls, raising his starting pistol. Rodriguez takes a deep breath, centering herself mentally for the challenge. 3 combat deployments taught her that physical capability means nothing without proper mental preparation. She visualized the route, identified potential difficulties, and prepared contingency plans for various scenarios. Coleman shifts into a slight crouch, muscles coiled for the explosive start that will establish early positioning in the group. Experience taught her that falling behind early creates a deficit that becomes increasingly difficult to overcome as fatigue accumulates. The starting pistol fires with a sharp crack that echoes across the training ground. 31 Rangers begin moving in a loosely organized column, each seeking their optimal position within the formation. Some surge ahead to establish early leads, others settle into conservative paces designed for steady progress, and a few hang back to observe group dynamics before committing to specific strategies. Thompson naturally gravitates toward the front of the formation, his long stride and powerful build allowing him to set an aggressive pace from the beginning. Years of competitive running in the military taught him that establishing position early prevents having to fight through crowds later when fatigue begins affecting judgment. Martinez finds her rhythm 3 positions behind Thompson, matching his pace while conserving energy for the later phases when the terrain becomes more challenging. Her shorter stride requires higher cadence, but her cardiovascular conditioning compensates for the mechanical disadvantage. The mysterious figure settles into 7th position, moving with the same steady stride that characterized the approach to the training ground. No apparent effort to surge ahead or establish dominance, but no signs of struggling to maintain pace either, just consistent forward progress with minimal visible exertion. Powell watches this positioning with growing curiosity. Experienced Rangers typically employ specific strategies based on their strengths and the course requirements. Sprinters go out fast to bank time for difficult terrain. Endurance specialists pace conservatively to maintain strength for final pushes. But the newcomer's strategy remains unclear. Mile 1 passes without incident as the formation moves along established trails through Montana pine forest. The pace remains steady but manageable, allowing rangers to settle into sustainable rhythms while evaluating their competition. Conversation remains minimal, reserved for necessary communication about obstacles or terrain changes. Chen maintains 4th position, using his height advantage to scan ahead for potential challenges. His stride length naturally matches the group pace, allowing him to monitor other participants without compromising his own performance. So far, everyone appears to be managing the load and distance requirements successfully. The small figure continues in 7th position with no apparent difficulty. The oversized rucksack bobs slightly with each step, but there are no signs of the labored breathing or altered gait that typically accompany struggling with excessive weight. Either exceptional fitness or effective pacing strategy, though observers remain skeptical about both explanations. Mile 2 brings the first significant elevation change as the trail winds upward through switchbacks carved into a granite hillside. The grade isn't severe, but it represents the first real test of cardiovascular conditioning and load-bearing capability. Thompson maintains his aggressive pace despite the incline, powering up the switchbacks with the kind of relentless forward momentum that characterized his approach to every military challenge. His breathing deepens slightly, but his stride remains strong and consistent. Behind him, Martinez adjusts her pace fractionally, recognizing that the uphill sections will be the most demanding portions of the route. She's calculated energy expenditure rates and knows that too aggressive an approach now will cost her severely in the later miles. The mysterious participant navigates the switchbacks with the same steady rhythm maintained since the start. No visible signs of increased effort, despite the additional workload imposed by elevation gain and the 60-pound load. The stride remains consistent, breathing appears controlled, and there are no indicators of developing fatigue. Rodriguez, running in 8th position, finds herself studying the small figures technique with professional interest. Military movement under load requires specific adaptations: shorter stride length to maintain balance, adjusted arm swing to accommodate equipment, modified breathing patterns to maximize oxygen uptake. But the newcomer's technique doesn't show these typical adaptations. The stride length remains natural, arm movement appears unrestricted by equipment weight, and breathing seems effortless despite the increasing demands. Either natural talent or extensive previous experience with load carrying. Mile 3 marks the halfway point of the trail-based portion, and the formation begins to stretch as individual capabilities and strategies become apparent. Thompson has opened a 50-meter lead, running with the confidence of someone who knows his conditioning can handle whatever lies ahead. Martinez holds 2nd position comfortably, her pace steady but not labored. Years of mountain training in Colorado prepared her for sustained effort at elevation, and Montana's altitude presents no unusual challenges for someone accustomed to thin air. The mysterious figure has moved up to 5th position without any apparent increase in effort. The advancement came naturally as other rangers settled into more conservative paces, not through aggressive surging or competitive positioning, just consistent forward progress that gradually accumulated into better placement. Bennett, running in 9th position, notices the positional change with surprise. She's been monitoring the small figure since the start, expecting to witness the inevitable breakdown when physical reality overcame apparent confidence. Instead, she's observing steady progress and maintaining pace. Powell also tracks the mysterious participant's advancement, trying to reconcile what he observes with his expectations. Military assessment courses are designed to reveal limitations, to push participants beyond their comfortable capabilities and identify breaking points. But so far, those breaking points remain invisible. Mile 4 introduces the first technical challenge as the trail navigates through a boulder field requiring careful foot placement and balance maintenance. The terrain change forces rangers to modify their movement patterns, transitioning from pure endurance running to technical hiking with precision requirements. Thompson's aggressive pace becomes a liability in the technical terrain, forcing him to slow considerably to avoid misstepping with the heavy load. His natural advantage in pure physical capability becomes neutralized by the precision requirements of navigating unstable footing. Martinez adapts smoothly to the terrain change, her movement becoming more deliberate but maintaining steady forward progress. Her experience with varied terrain types allows quick adjustment to new requirements without significant pace reduction. The small figure navigates the boulder field with fluid efficiency, maintaining the same steady rhythm despite the changed requirements. Each step appears precisely placed, weight transfers are smooth and controlled, and there are no signs of the hesitation or uncertainty that typically accompanies unfamiliar terrain. Coleman, observing from 10th position, recognizes technical proficiency when she sees it. The newcomer's movement through the boulder field demonstrates the kind of practiced efficiency that only comes from extensive experience with challenging terrain. Not beginner's luck or natural ability, but trained competence. Mile 5 marks the end of the technical section and return to conventional trail running. But the formation has compressed significantly as the boulder field equalized many of the early advantages. Thompson maintains his lead, but the gap has narrowed to 30 meters. Martinez holds second position, while the mysterious participant has advanced to 4th place. Hayes, running in 11th position, processes this information with growing confusion. He's observed hundreds of rangers during various assessments, and position advancement typically correlates with visible signs of superior conditioning or technique. But the small figure's advancement appears effortless, almost accidental. The pace remains steady as the formation moves through the final trail-based mile, but subtle signs of fatigue begin appearing in several participants. Breathing patterns deepen, stride lengths shorten slightly, and some rangers begin making minor equipment adjustments to relieve pressure points. Morrison, maintaining 12th position, notes these developments with analytical interest. The assessment's design ensures that cumulative stress reveals individual capabilities and limitations. Physical fatigue, equipment discomfort, and time pressure combine to create decision-making challenges that separate high performers from pretenders. But the mysterious newcomer shows no signs of developing stress or fatigue. The breathing remains controlled, stride stays consistent, and there are no equipment adjustments or signs of discomfort. Either exceptional preparation or something else entirely that the experienced rangers haven't yet identified. Mile 6 marks the transition point from established trails to wilderness terrain, and Master Sergeant Harrison waits at a checkpoint to verify participant numbers and conditions. Each ranger must pass through the checkpoint within specific time windows to continue in the assessment. Thompson arrives first, his pace having carried him through the trail section with time to spare. He's breathing hard but appears strong, his conditioning allowing him to maintain aggressive pace despite the cumulative load and distance. Martinez follows 90 seconds behind, her strategic pacing having preserved energy while maintaining competitive position. She shows minimal signs of fatigue, her preparation and experience evident in efficient movement and controlled breathing. The mysterious participant arrives 4th, crossing the checkpoint with no apparent distress or fatigue. The small frame that seemed so inadequate at the starting line has carried 60 pounds of equipment for 6 miles without visible degradation in performance or capability. Harrison checks his roster and chronometer, noting the time and condition of each participant. In 15 years of conducting these assessments, he's learned to identify the subtle signs that predict success or failure in later phases. But the small figure presents indicators he's never encountered before. As rangers collect water and prepare for the wilderness phase, conversations buzz with speculation and growing respect. What began as skepticism about an obvious mismatch has evolved into curiosity about capabilities that remain hidden beneath an unassuming exterior. The real test lies ahead in unmarked terrain, where navigation skills and mental toughness become as important as physical capability. But 6 miles have already demonstrated that appearances can be deceiving, and that true capability sometimes comes in unexpected packages. The wilderness phase awaits, and with it, challenges that will reveal whether this mysterious ranger possesses the complete skill set required for elite military operations, or if the trail section was simply the calm before an inevitable storm. The wilderness phase transforms everything. Gone are the established trails with their predictable surfaces and clear direction markers. Instead, rangers face 6 miles of unmarked Montana terrain that shifts from dense forest to open meadows to rocky ravines without warning. Navigation becomes critical. Route selection determines success or failure, and mental toughness separates survivors from casualties. Master Sergeant Harrison hands each participant a topographical map and compass at the transition checkpoint. No GPS devices, no electronic navigation aids, no modern technology that might provide unfair advantages. Just basic tools and individual skill in reading terrain, interpreting symbols, and making navigation decisions under pressure. Your route to the finish line is entirely your choice, Harrison explains to the assembled rangers. Multiple paths exist, each with different advantages and challenges. Choose wisely, because there are no do-overs in the wilderness. Thompson studies his map intently, identifying what appears to be the most direct route through a series of connected valleys. His strategy remains aggressive. Power through challenging terrain, using superior physical capability to overcome obstacles that might stop others. The approach has served him well throughout his military career. Martinez takes longer with her map analysis, considering multiple route options and evaluating terrain features that could impact movement speed. Her experience with mountain operations taught her that the shortest distance rarely equals the fastest time, especially when carrying heavy loads through unmarked territory. The mysterious figure examines the topographical map with systematic precision, fingers tracing potential routes while eyes scan the actual terrain visible from the checkpoint. The analysis appears methodical and experienced, not the hesitant uncertainty of someone encountering wilderness navigation for the first time. Chen selects a conservative route that follows ridgelines where possible, trading some distance for easier navigation and more predictable terrain. His engineering background influences his approach. Minimize variables, reduce uncertainty, maintain steady progress toward the objective. Coleman chooses an aggressive path that cuts directly through the most challenging terrain, betting that her wilderness experience will allow her to move efficiently through areas that might bog down other participants. Risk versus reward calculations based on confidence in her own capabilities. The small figure's route selection remains invisible to observers, but the map analysis suggests someone with extensive experience reading topographical information. Finger movements trace elevation contours, identify water sources, and evaluate vegetation patterns with the efficiency of practiced competence. Navigation errors will cost you time you can't afford to lose, Harrison warns. Wrong turns, backtracking, and route corrections have eliminated more rangers than physical fatigue. Trust your skills, but verify your position regularly. Powell secures his map in a waterproof case and checks his compass calibration one final time. 3 deployments in Afghanistan taught him that navigation errors in hostile territory mean death, and that lesson applies equally to assessment scenarios. Precision matters more than speed when moving through unmarked terrain. Rodriguez chooses a balanced approach, selecting routes that offer good visibility for navigation while avoiding the most punishing physical challenges. Her reconnaissance background emphasizes gathering information before making commitments, and that philosophy extends to route planning. The mysterious participant folds the map with practiced efficiency and secures it in an easily accessible pocket. No hesitation, no second guessing, no apparent anxiety about navigating through wilderness terrain. Either supreme confidence or extensive experience with similar challenges. Move out at your own pace, Harrison calls. Finish line checkpoint closes in 3 hours from now. Late arrivals don't continue to the next phase. 31 rangers disperse into Montana wilderness, each following their chosen route toward a destination 6 miles away. What appeared as a cohesive group moments ago fragments into individual challenges against terrain, time, and personal limitations. Thompson powers up the first ridge with characteristic aggression, his physical strength allowing him to maintain pace despite the steep grade. His chosen route cuts through the most direct terrain, trading navigational complexity for a shorter distance. Early progress appears excellent. Martinez moves with measured efficiency along a path that follows natural terrain features. Her pace seems conservative compared to Thompson's surge, but her route selection avoids the steepest climbs and most technical obstacles. Strategic patience versus tactical aggression. The small figure disappears into forest cover, following a route that's invisible to other participants. The chosen path appears to wind through areas that offer concealment and protection, suggesting someone who thinks tactically about movement through potentially hostile territory. 40 minutes into the wilderness phase, the first navigation challenges become apparent. Thompson reaches a steep ravine that doesn't appear on his map with the clarity he expected. The obstacle requires either significant backtracking or a dangerous descent that could result in injury with the heavy load. He chooses to attempt the descent, using his size and strength to control the loaded rucksack while navigating loose rock and uncertain footing. The approach works, but costs significant time and energy that might be needed for later challenges. Risk-taking that could pay dividends or create problems. Martinez encounters her first major decision point, where two valleys diverge toward the objective. Her map analysis suggested the Western Valley would be easier, but actual terrain reveals obstacles that weren't visible on topographical representations. Navigation theory meets reality. She chooses the eastern route after brief consideration, trusting her instincts over preliminary planning. Flexibility in execution often matters more than perfection in initial strategy, especially when operating with incomplete information about actual conditions. The mysterious participant remains invisible to other rangers, having disappeared into terrain that seems to swallow small figures while exposing larger ones. The chosen route avoids areas where other participants are visible, suggesting either tactical thinking or intimate knowledge of the training area. 1 hour into the wilderness phase, fatigue begins affecting decision-making capabilities. The combination of physical exertion, time pressure, and navigation challenges creates cognitive load that reveals individual stress tolerance levels. Chen reaches a creek crossing that requires careful evaluation. The water appears shallow enough to form, but the current is stronger than expected, and a mistake could result in equipment damage or personal injury. Cost-benefit analysis under pressure with imperfect information. He chooses to search for a better crossing point, investing time to reduce risk. The decision reflects his systematic approach to problem-solving, but time spent on caution reduces available margin for error in reaching the finish line. Coleman attacks her chosen route with aggressive efficiency, using her wilderness experience to read terrain and identify the fastest paths through challenging obstacles. Her confidence allows quick decision-making that maintains forward momentum despite difficult conditions. But confidence can become overconfidence, and she misreads a slope stability situation that results in a minor fall and equipment shift. No injury, but lost time, and a reminder that wilderness terrain demands respect regardless of experience level. Powell maintains steady progress through terrain that matches his expectations from map analysis. His conservative route selection avoids the most challenging obstacles while providing clear navigation references. Methodical advancement without dramatic gains or losses. Rodriguez uses her reconnaissance training to gather information before committing to specific routes. She climbs elevation points to scan ahead, identifies potential obstacles before encountering them, and makes informed decisions based on actual observation rather than map interpretation. The approach consumes time in the short term, but prevents costly mistakes that could eliminate her from the assessment. Information gathering is an investment in long-term success, rather than immediate gratification. 90 minutes into the wilderness phase, the mysterious participant becomes visible to other rangers for the first time since entering the forest. The small figure emerges from dense cover onto a ridgeline that provides excellent visibility of the surrounding terrain. Bennett, struggling through difficult terrain 2 valleys away, spots the distant figure and realizes with shock that the mysterious newcomer has somehow matched or exceeded the progress of much larger, stronger rangers who chose more direct routes. The observation contradicts everything Bennett thought she understood about physical capability and route selection. How does someone with apparent physical limitations navigate challenging wilderness terrain as efficiently as elite operators with years of specialized training? Hayes, also visible on a parallel ridge, makes the same observation with growing amazement. His own progress has been steady but unremarkable, following established principles of pace management and risk reduction. But somehow the small figure has achieved superior positioning through methods that remain invisible. 2 hours into the wilderness phase, time pressure begins affecting all participants. The 3-hour limit approaches, and rangers must choose between careful navigation and aggressive pace to ensure timely arrival at the finish line. Thompson's early aggressive pace is paying dividends as he approaches the final valley before the checkpoint. His direct route and physical capability have overcome most obstacles, though fatigue is beginning to affect his decision-making speed. Martinez maintains consistent progress, her strategic route selection having avoided major obstacles while keeping her within striking distance of the finish line. Her approach demonstrates that intelligent planning can compensate for pure physical disadvantage in complex challenges. The mysterious figure remains visible on the ridgeline, moving with the same steady pace that has characterized the entire assessment. No signs of fatigue, no apparent urgency about time limits, no indication that the wilderness navigation has presented significant challenges. Chen fights through difficult terrain after his cautious approach to the creek crossing cost more time than anticipated. His systematic methodology works well for complex problems, but wilderness navigation sometimes rewards rapid decision-making over careful analysis. Coleman recovers from her earlier fall and pushes hard through the final miles, using her experience to make up lost time through superior route selection and aggressive pace. Her wilderness skills shine in the complex terrain that neutralizes pure physical advantages. With 30 minutes remaining before the checkpoint closes, Rangers begin making final navigation decisions that will determine success or failure. Some push harder, risking injury or navigation errors. Others maintain steady approaches, trusting their preparation and current positioning. Powell emerges from forest cover to discover he's closer to the finish line than expected, his conservative route having proven more efficient than anticipated. Sometimes avoiding dramatic risks pays better dividends than aggressive approaches. Rodriguez uses her final elevation climb to confirm her position and identify the most efficient approach to the checkpoint. Her reconnaissance methodology provides confidence in final navigation decisions when precision matters most. The mysterious participant disappears from ridgeline visibility one final time, presumably entering the final terrain before the finish line. The small figure's performance throughout the wilderness phase has confounded every prediction and challenged fundamental assumptions about capability and preparation. As Rangers converge on the checkpoint from different directions, one truth becomes undeniable. The assessment has revealed capabilities that don't match appearances and demonstrated that elite performance sometimes comes from the most unexpected sources. The wilderness phase concludes with Rangers arriving in an order that bears little resemblance to initial predictions, setting the stage for marksmanship challenges that will test entirely different skills under new forms of pressure. But 6 miles of unmarked terrain navigation has already proven that this assessment will challenge more than physical capability. It will test everything the participants thought they knew about strength, skill, and the nature of true competence. The marksmanship range emerges from morning shadows like a complex mechanical organism designed to test human precision under impossible conditions. 26 Rangers survived the wilderness navigation phase, their numbers reduced by those who missed navigation checkpoints or exceeded time limits. Each survivor now faces challenges that will separate shooters from snipers, technicians from artists. Range Master Chief Petty Officer Daniel Brooks oversees the marksmanship phase with the intense focus of someone who's witnessed every possible failure mode in precision shooting. His weather-beaten face bears the concentration lines of 2 decades spent perfecting the art of placing bullets exactly where they need to go, under conditions that would break ordinary marksmen. Precision shooting under stress isn't about perfect conditions, Brooks announces to the assembled Rangers. It's about maintaining accuracy when everything goes wrong, when your heart rate is elevated, when time pressure crushes decision-making, and when missing means mission failure. The range complex stretches across varied terrain, designed to replicate real-world shooting scenarios. Urban environments with multiple elevation changes, rural settings with extended sightlines, close-quarters areas requiring rapid target acquisition, and long-range positions where atmospheric conditions affect bullet trajectory. Thompson examines the course layout while flexing his shoulders to relieve tension from the wilderness navigation. His marksmanship background centers on precision rifle work in urban environments, skills developed through multiple deployments where accuracy meant the difference between mission success and civilian casualties. Martinez studies wind indicators positioned throughout the range, noting how terrain features create microclimate conditions that will affect bullet flight. Her mountain training included extensive work with environmental factors that influence long-range accuracy, knowledge that becomes critical when engaging targets beyond normal combat distances. The mysterious figure inspects the weapon systems available for the marksmanship phase with the same systematic approach observed during equipment issues. Multiple rifle platforms, various optic configurations, different ammunition types, all designed to test adaptability rather than familiarity with specific equipment. Chen calculates sight adjustments required for different range distances, his engineering background providing advantages in understanding ballistic mathematics and environmental compensation. Technical knowledge can overcome pure shooting talent when conditions become complex enough to challenge instinctive abilities. Coleman checks the rifle's zero against known reference points, using her experience with multiple weapon systems to quickly establish baseline accuracy with unfamiliar equipment. Adaptability matters more than expertise with specific platforms when assessment conditions change rapidly. Phase 1 begins with precision rifle work at extended ranges, Brooks explains, indicating targets positioned at distances exceeding 800 meters. Multiple target types, various environmental conditions, limited ammunition. Every shot counts, because resupply isn't available. Powell adjusts his shooting position to accommodate the tactical vest and remaining equipment from the navigation phase. Shooting while wearing full combat gear requires different body mechanics than range training, and the accumulated fatigue from previous phases adds complexity to maintaining precision. Rodriguez uses her reconnaissance background to analyze shooting positions and identify factors that might affect accuracy. Wind patterns, visibility conditions, target characteristics, and time constraints all influence tactical decisions about how to approach each engagement. The small figure assumes a shooting position with fluid efficiency that suggests extensive experience with precision rifle work. Body alignment appears natural and practiced. Weapon handling shows automatic competence, and breathing control indicates someone who understands the physiological requirements for consistent accuracy. Targets will be exposed for limited time windows, Brooks continues. Some require identification before engagement, others demand immediate response. Miss the window, lose the opportunity. Engage the wrong target, fail the assessment. The first shooting position overlooks a valley where targets appear at various distances and elevations. Wind flags indicate shifting conditions that will require constant adjustment, and mirage patterns suggest atmospheric instability that complicates range estimation. Thompson settles into his shooting position with characteristic confidence, his large frame providing natural stability for precision work. Years of urban sniper training taught him to use body mass as an asset for maintaining steady sight pictures under stress conditions. He engages the first target with deliberate precision, taking time to ensure proper sight alignment and breathing control. The shot breaks cleanly, and spotting scope confirmation shows impact within the required accuracy standards. Solid performance that matches expectations. Martinez approaches her first engagement with careful consideration of environmental factors. Wind conditions suggest a 3/4 value crosswind that will push bullets laterally, requiring compensation based on distance and bullet weight. Her mountain experience provides advantages in reading complex wind patterns. Her shot impacts slightly off-center, still within acceptable limits but indicating room for improvement in environmental compensation. She adjusts her calculations for subsequent targets, demonstrating the kind of adaptive thinking that separates good shooters from exceptional ones. The mysterious participant engages the first target with minimal preparation time, yet achieves perfect center placement despite challenging conditions. The shot breaks with textbook timing, and follow-through indicates someone with extensive training in precision marksmanship fundamentals. Chen takes longer to engage, using his technical knowledge to calculate precise environmental compensations before committing to the shot. His approach emphasizes accuracy over speed, trusting mathematical precision over instinctive adjustments. The result is excellent accuracy but slower engagement times. Coleman engages targets with the aggressive confidence of someone who's performed similar work under actual combat conditions. Her shots are consistently accurate, though not always perfect, and her engagement speed reflects comfort with making quick decisions under pressure. Phase 2 transitions to moving targets in urban environments, Brooks announces as Rangers relocate to a complex designed to replicate city combat scenarios. Targets appear at various ranges, some stationary, others moving. Civilian decoys are mixed with legitimate threats. Choose correctly. The urban environment presents significantly different challenges. Multiple elevation levels, obscured sight lines, targets that appear briefly in windows or doorways, and the constant pressure of distinguishing combatants from non-combatants in split-second decision windows. Powell approaches the urban phase methodically, using his intelligence background to analyze the scenario before engaging any targets. Pattern recognition and threat assessment become as important as marksmanship accuracy when civilian safety considerations enter the equation. Rodriguez excels in the urban environment, her reconnaissance training having included extensive work with target identification and engagement priorities. She moves through the course efficiently, engaging threats while avoiding civilian decoys with precision that reflects specialized training. The small figure navigates the urban course with fluid efficiency that suggests intimate familiarity with close-quarters combat scenarios. Movement between positions appears tactical and experienced, weapon transitions are smooth and automatic, and target engagement shows the kind of instinctive accuracy that only comes from extensive practice. Thompson struggles slightly with the urban environment's complexity, his preference for long-range precision work being less applicable in close-quarters scenarios that require rapid target acquisition and immediate decision-making. Physical advantages become less relevant when mental agility determines success. Martinez adapts well to the urban phase, though her mountain background provides less direct applicability than in long-range scenarios. Her methodical approach serves her well in complex environments where careful analysis prevents costly mistakes. Phase 3 introduces extreme long-range precision under adverse conditions, Brooks explains as rangers move to positions overlooking targets at distances exceeding 1,200 meters. Atmospheric conditions, equipment limitations, and time pressure combine to create the most challenging shooting scenarios. The extreme long-range phase eliminates many advantages held by solid shooters who lack the specialized training required for precision work at extended distances. Environmental factors become magnified, equipment limitations multiply errors, and even minor technique flaws result in complete misses. Chen's technical knowledge provides significant advantages at extreme ranges where mathematical precision becomes essential. His calculations for environmental compensation prove accurate, and his systematic approach to each engagement produces consistent results despite challenging conditions. Coleman finds the extreme ranges pushing the limits of her experience, though her wilderness background helps with reading environmental conditions. She adapts her technique to accommodate the increased difficulty, though her accuracy drops slightly compared to shorter distance work. The mysterious participant engages extreme long-range targets with the same calm precision demonstrated throughout the marksmanship phase. Environmental compensation appears automatic and accurate, suggesting someone with extensive training specifically in precision shooting at extended distances. Powell struggles with the extreme ranges, his background being more applicable to intelligence gathering than precision marksmanship at distances that require specialized training. He completes the phase but with reduced accuracy that reflects the limits of his shooting experience. Rodriguez performs adequately at extreme ranges, though the scenarios push beyond her reconnaissance training background. Her systematic approach helps maintain consistency, but the specialized requirements reveal areas where additional training would improve performance. Final phase combines precision shooting with physical stress and time pressure, Brooks announces, directing rangers to a course that requires rapid movement between shooting positions while maintaining accuracy standards. The combination phase eliminates remaining participants who lack the conditioning to maintain precision while under physical stress. Running between positions with full equipment, assuming shooting positions quickly, and maintaining accuracy despite elevated heart rate and breathing challenges. Thompson's physical conditioning provides advantages in the combination phase, his cardiovascular fitness allowing him to maintain steady shooting positions despite movement requirements. His large frame absorbs equipment weight effectively, reducing fatigue that might affect accuracy. Martinez struggles with the combination phase, her smaller stature requiring more effort to carry equipment through rapid movement requirements. Though her shooting remains accurate, the physical demands begin affecting her overall performance levels. The small figure moves through the combination phase with remarkable efficiency, transitioning between positions smoothly while maintaining shooting accuracy that rivals performance from static positions. Physical limitations that seemed obvious become invisible when combined with superior technique and conditioning. Chen finds the combination phase challenging, his methodical approach being less applicable when time pressure forces rapid decision-making. Technical knowledge matters less when instinctive responses determine success or failure in high-stress scenarios. Coleman excels in the combination phase, her combat experience having prepared her for exactly these kinds of scenarios where multiple stress factors combine to test overall competence rather than specific technical skills. As the marksmanship phase concludes, performance results reveal capabilities that continue challenging initial assumptions about the mysterious participant. Scores indicate someone with training that matches or exceeds many of the experienced rangers, despite physical characteristics that suggested limitations. The small figure's marksmanship performance has been consistently excellent across all phases, from precision long-range work to rapid urban engagements to extreme distance shooting under adverse conditions. Each phase revealed additional layers of competence that contradict obvious physical disadvantages. Range Master Chief Brooks reviews scoring data with growing interest, noting patterns that suggest specialized training far beyond what would be expected from someone with the mysterious participant's apparent background. The results indicate professional-level competence across multiple shooting disciplines. 22 Rangers advanced to the tactical phase, their numbers further reduced by those who failed to meet marksmanship standards under stress conditions. Each survivor has demonstrated shooting competence that qualifies them for consideration as elite operators. But questions about the mysterious participants' background grow stronger with each successful phase completion. Physical limitations that should have created obvious disadvantages continue proving irrelevant, while technical competence in specialized areas suggests training that remains unexplained. The tactical phase awaits, where decision-making under pressure and leadership capabilities will be tested through scenarios designed to reveal character under stress. But the marksmanship results have already demonstrated that assumptions about capability based on physical appearance can be dangerously misleading. As Rangers prepare for the next challenge, one truth becomes increasingly apparent. The assessment is revealing not just technical competence, but the fundamental difference between those who appear capable and those who actually possess the skills required for elite military operations. The Tactical Operations Complex rises from the Montana landscape like a miniature city designed specifically for testing human judgment under impossible pressure. 22 Rangers enter this final phase, having survived physical challenges, navigation tests, and marksmanship evaluations that eliminated nearly a third of the original candidates. Now they face scenarios where technical competence matters less than wisdom, and where character reveals itself through decisions made when there are no perfect answers. Colonel Sarah Mitchell oversees the tactical phase with the kind of intense focus that comes from commanding actual operations where wrong decisions cost lives rather than just assessment scores. Her silver hair and weathered features tell stories of 3 decades making life-or-death choices in places where hesitation means catastrophe and overconfidence leads to tragedy. Real operations don't come with instruction manuals, Mitchell addresses the assembled Rangers. You'll face scenarios where intelligence is incomplete, time is insufficient, and every decision carries consequences you can't fully predict. Your job is to make the best choices possible with imperfect information under extreme pressure. The tactical complex contains multiple environments designed to replicate real-world crisis situations. Urban buildings with civilians, rural compounds with unknown threats, medical emergency scenarios, hostage situations, and explosive ordnance disposal challenges that combine technical knowledge with split-second decision-making. Thompson studies the scenario briefings while mentally preparing for leadership challenges that will test his ability to guide teams through complex operations. His size and physical presence naturally position him for leadership roles, but effective command requires judgment that can't be developed through strength training. Martinez reviews tactical procedures she's learned through mountain operations, though she recognizes that urban environments present different challenges requiring adaptability rather than rigid adherence to established protocols. Flexibility and thinking becomes as important as technical competence when scenarios evolve rapidly. The mysterious figure examines tactical scenarios with the same systematic attention given to every previous challenge. No visible anxiety about the leadership requirements or decision-making pressure, just calm analysis of complex situations that would intimidate most people, regardless of their military experience. Chen approaches the tactical phase with engineering logic, seeking to break complex scenarios into component problems that can be solved systematically. His methodical thinking provides advantages in certain situations, though tactical operations sometimes require intuitive responses that resist analytical approaches. Coleman prepares for scenarios that closely match her combat experience, though she knows that assessment environments can't perfectly replicate the chaos and uncertainty of actual operations. Still, her background with urban warfare provides confidence in handling complex tactical challenges. Scenario 1 involves hostage rescue in an urban environment, Mitchell explains, directing Rangers toward a multi-story building complex. Unknown number of hostages. Uncertain threat locations. Civilian presence confirmed. Time pressure due to reported explosive devices. The hostage rescue scenario immediately tests Rangers' ability to process incomplete information and make command decisions without clear guidance from higher authority. Leadership assessment begins the moment teams form and start planning their approach to the tactical challenge. Powell naturally assumes a leadership role in his assigned team, using his intelligence background to analyze available information and develop operational plans. His systematic approach to information gathering provides a solid foundation for tactical decision-making, though leadership requires more than just analytical competence. Rodriguez contributes reconnaissance expertise to her team's planning process, offering to gather additional intelligence before committing to specific tactical approaches. Her specialty in information gathering becomes valuable when teams need to understand threats before engaging them. The small figure joins a team led by Thompson, who automatically assumes command based on his size, rank, and previous leadership experience. But during the planning phase, the mysterious participant begins contributing insights that suggest extensive experience with tactical operations far beyond what their appearance would indicate. Entry points need to consider civilian evacuation routes, the small figure observes quietly, pointing to building schematics. Standard breach techniques could trap non-combatants in crossfire zones. Thompson pauses his briefing to consider this input, recognizing tactical wisdom that goes beyond basic training knowledge. The observation demonstrates thinking that considers multiple variables simultaneously, the kind of strategic awareness that comes from extensive operational experience. Martinez, assigned to the same team, notices the quality of the tactical suggestions coming from their mysterious teammate. Not tentative recommendations from someone trying to contribute, but confident analysis from someone who clearly understands complex operational dynamics. Explosive device locations unknown means electronic countermeasures become priority, the small figure continues. Communications jamming could prevent remote detonation but also eliminates our coordination capabilities. Risk-benefit analysis suggests selective jamming. Chen, reviewing building layouts, realizes he's hearing tactical analysis that exceeds his own understanding of explosive ordnance disposal and electronic warfare. The mysterious participant is demonstrating knowledge in specialized areas that require extensive training and experience to master. Teams begin executing their hostage rescue plans with the kind of coordinated precision that separates elite operators from conventional soldiers. Movement techniques, communication protocols, threat assessment procedures, all performed under observation by assessors who evaluate both technical competence and leadership dynamics. Thompson's team approaches the building using tactics that incorporate suggestions from the mysterious participant, though he maintains overall command responsibility. The small figure moves with fluid efficiency that suggests intimate familiarity with close-quarters combat operations. During the breach phase, the mysterious participant demonstrates weapon handling and tactical movement that rivals the most experienced rangers. Room-clearing techniques appear automatic and practiced, threat assessment happens instantaneously, and decision-making under pressure shows the kind of calm competence that only develops through extensive operational experience. Powell's team executes their plan methodically, his intelligence background providing advantages in analyzing threat indicators and making informed decisions about civilian safety. His leadership style emphasizes careful planning and risk reduction, though sometimes tactical situations require rapid adaptation. Rodriguez contributes valuable reconnaissance during her team's approach, gathering intelligence that prevents potential tactical mistakes. Her ability to observe and analyze enemy positions provides her team with advantages that improve their operational effectiveness. Coleman's team benefits from her urban warfare experience, though she discovers that assessment scenarios can present challenges that differ from actual combat operations. The presence of civilian actors and explosive device simulations adds complexity that requires careful consideration of consequences. Scenario 2 transitions to explosive ordnance disposal under time pressure, Mitchell announces as teams complete the hostage rescue evaluation. Multiple devices. Unknown triggering mechanisms. Civilian evacuation incomplete. Time constraints based on intelligence about activation schedules. The EOD scenario tests Rangers' ability to make life-or-death decisions with incomplete technical information, while under extreme time pressure. Wrong choices result in simulated casualties, but hesitation also carries consequences when innocent lives hang in the balance. Chen's engineering background provides significant advantages in the EOD scenario, his technical knowledge allowing him to analyze device components and make informed decisions about disposal procedures. Mathematical thinking becomes directly applicable when dealing with explosive mechanisms. The mysterious figure approaches the EOD challenge with calm, systematic analysis that suggests extensive experience with explosive devices. Technical knowledge appears comprehensive and current, indicating specialized training that goes far beyond basic military education about explosive hazards. Thompson finds the EOD scenario challenging, his leadership skills being less applicable when technical expertise determines success or failure. He relies heavily on team members with relevant specialties, demonstrating good leadership judgment in delegating to subject matter experts. Martinez applies her mountain training experience with avalanche explosives to the EOD challenge, though urban explosive devices present different technical requirements. Her systematic approach helps maintain focus under pressure, even when dealing with unfamiliar technical challenges. During the EOD phase, the small figure demonstrates technical competence that shocks observing rangers. Explosive device analysis appears automatic and confident. Disposal procedures are executed with practiced precision, and decision-making shows the kind of expertise that requires years of specialized training. Powell watches the EOD work with growing amazement, recognizing technical skills that exceed his own understanding of explosive ordnance disposal. The mysterious participant is demonstrating professional-level competence in yet another specialized military discipline. Rodriguez observes the EOD techniques with professional interest, noting details that suggest training far beyond basic military requirements. The level of technical expertise being displayed requires the kind of specialized education typically reserved for career EOD specialists. Scenario 3 involves medical emergency response under combat conditions, Mitchell explains, directing rangers toward a complex designed to simulate battlefield casualty scenarios. Multiple casualties, limited medical supplies, ongoing threat conditions, evacuation challenges. The medical scenario tests rangers' ability to prioritize casualties, perform life-saving procedures under pressure, and make difficult decisions about resource allocation when perfect solutions don't exist. Technical medical knowledge combines with judgment calls that have moral as well as tactical implications. Coleman's combat experience includes battlefield medical training, though she recognizes that assessment scenarios can present challenges that exceed her field medicine background. Still, her experience with actual casualty situations provides confidence in handling medical emergencies. The mysterious figure approaches the medical scenario with the same calm competence demonstrated in all previous challenges. Medical knowledge appears comprehensive and current, suggesting training that goes beyond basic combat lifesaver certification to approach professional medical competence. Thompson coordinates his team's medical response efforts, though he relies on teammates with relevant medical training for technical procedures. His leadership focuses on organizing resources and establishing priorities when multiple casualties require simultaneous attention. Martinez contributes her mountain rescue medical training to the casualty scenarios, though urban combat medical challenges present different requirements. Her experience with evacuation procedures under difficult conditions proves valuable in coordinating casualty movement. During the medical phase, the small figure demonstrates advanced medical knowledge that includes sophisticated trauma procedures, pharmaceutical applications, and surgical techniques that require extensive professional training. The level of competence being displayed suggests medical education far beyond military requirements. Chen applies his systematic thinking to medical triage decisions, using logical analysis to prioritize casualties based on survival probability and available resources. His methodical approach works well for complex decisions that involve multiple variables and competing priorities. Powell observes the medical procedures with continued amazement at the mysterious participant's breadth of expertise. Professional-level competence in tactical operations, explosive ordnance disposal, and now advanced medical procedures suggests training that spans multiple specialized disciplines. Final scenario involves command decision-making with strategic implications, Mitchell announces, directing rangers toward a command center complex. Multiple ongoing operations, resource limitations, political considerations, time pressure from developing situations requiring immediate response. The strategic command scenario tests rangers' ability to think beyond tactical execution to consider broader implications of operational decisions. Success requires understanding how individual actions affect larger objectives and how strategic thinking differs from tactical problem-solving. Rodriguez uses her reconnaissance background to analyze intelligence reports and assess the strategic implications of various tactical options. Her experience with information gathering provides advantages in understanding how tactical decisions affect strategic outcomes. The mysterious figure engages with the strategic scenario with demonstrated understanding of command dynamics that suggests experience at levels far above typical ranger operations. Strategic thinking appears natural and practiced, indicating exposure to decision-making at senior command levels. Thompson finds the strategic scenario challenging, his background being more applicable to tactical leadership than strategic command responsibilities. He adapts his leadership style to accommodate broader considerations, though strategic thinking requires different skills than tactical execution. Martinez approaches strategic decisions methodically, using her experience with complex mountain operations to understand how individual tactical choices affect larger operational success. Her systematic thinking helps analyze competing priorities and resource allocation challenges. As the tactical phase concludes, performance evaluations reveal competence levels that continue challenging every assumption about the mysterious participant. Technical knowledge spans multiple specialized disciplines, tactical thinking demonstrates extensive operational experience, and strategic understanding suggests exposure to senior command responsibilities. Colonel Mitchell reviews assessment results with growing fascination, noting performance patterns that indicate training and experience far beyond what would be expected from someone with the mysterious participant's apparent background and physical characteristics. The small figure's tactical performance has been consistently exceptional across all scenarios, from hostage rescue to explosive ordnance disposal to medical emergencies to strategic command decisions. Each challenge revealed additional layers of competence that contradict obvious physical limitations and mysterious background. 18 Rangers survived the complete assessment, their numbers reduced by those who failed to meet standards in technical competence, tactical thinking, or leadership capability under pressure. Each survivor has demonstrated the kind of comprehensive excellence required for elite military operations. But questions about the mysterious participant's true identity and background have grown from curious speculation to urgent necessity. The level of competence demonstrated across multiple specialized disciplines suggests training and experience that few people possess, regardless of their physical characteristics or apparent background. As Rangers prepare for final evaluations and assessment results, one truth has become undeniable: appearances can be the most dangerous form of deception, and true capability often comes wrapped in packages that challenge every assumption about strength, skill, and the nature of elite military competence. The assessment debrief takes place in a conference room that has witnessed thousands of evaluations over the years, where dreams of military excellence either flourish or die based on performance under pressure. 18 Rangers sit around a polished oak table, each having survived challenges that eliminated nearly half their original number. They represent the pinnacle of American military capability, proven warriors who've earned their place through demonstrated competence across multiple disciplines. Colonel Mitchell enters with assessment folders containing detailed evaluations of each participant's performance throughout the grueling phases. Her expression reveals nothing about individual results, maintaining the professional neutrality required when careers and futures hang in the balance. Before we discuss individual assessments, Mitchell begins. I want to address something unprecedented that occurred during this evaluation cycle. The Rangers exchange glances, each wondering if their own performance somehow violated established protocols or revealed unexpected deficiencies. Assessment cycles typically follow predictable patterns, with results correlating roughly to experience levels in previous military accomplishments. Thompson shifts uncomfortably in his chair, reviewing his own performance mentally for potential failures or mistakes that might have disqualified him from advancement. His physical capabilities carried him through most challenges successfully, though he recognizes areas where others demonstrated superior expertise. Martinez maintains her composed expression while internally analyzing her performance across all phases. Her mountain training background proved valuable in several scenarios, though she acknowledges that some challenges revealed limitations in her experience base. The mysterious figure sits quietly at the table's end, displaying the same calm demeanor that characterized every interaction since arriving at the training ground. No visible anxiety about assessment results, no apparent concern about performance evaluation or future military assignments. Throughout my career, I've evaluated thousands of candidates for special operations roles, Mitchell continues. I've seen exceptional physical specimens fail due to character flaws, brilliant tactical minds break under pressure, and average soldiers exceed expectations through determination and preparation. Chen reviews his own assessment mentally, recognizing that his systematic approach worked well in some scenarios, while proving less effective in others requiring rapid intuitive responses. Technical knowledge provided advantages, but leadership challenges revealed areas needing development. Coleman reflects on her performance with the confidence of someone whose combat experience translated directly to assessment challenges. Her urban warfare background proved valuable across multiple phases, though she recognizes that assessment scenarios can't perfectly replicate actual operational conditions. But in 28 years of conducting these evaluations, Mitchell says, her voice carrying growing intensity, I have never witnessed a performance that challenges fundamental assumptions about capability, training, and the relationship between appearance and competence. Powell feels growing curiosity about the direction of Mitchell's comments, sensing that something significant is about to be revealed. His intelligence background taught him to recognize when information patterns suggest deeper truths than surface observations indicate. Rodriguez maintains professional composure while wondering if her own performance somehow contributed to the unprecedented situation Mitchell describes. Her reconnaissance training proved valuable, though she knows that assessment results depend on overall competence rather than individual specialties. The individual I'm about to discuss achieved scores that exceed 95% of candidates I've ever evaluated, Mitchell explains. Superior performance across every discipline tested, from physical endurance to technical knowledge to leadership capability under extreme pressure. The Rangers begin glancing around the table, each trying to identify which of their number achieved such exceptional results. Several candidates performed well across all phases, though no single individual seemed to dominate every challenge category. Thompson assumes the exceptional performance belongs to one of the Rangers with extensive combat experience, though he recognizes that assessment results sometimes surprise everyone involved. Individual capability can manifest in unexpected ways under specific testing conditions. Martinez wonders if Coleman's urban warfare background provided sufficient advantages to achieve the exceptional scores Mitchell describes. Combat experience often translates to superior assessment performance, though other factors contribute to overall evaluation results. This individual demonstrated technical competence that spans multiple specialized disciplines, typically requiring years of dedicated training, Mitchell continues. Explosive ordnance disposal expertise at professional levels. Advanced medical knowledge including sophisticated trauma procedures. Tactical thinking that reflects extensive operational experience. Chen realizes that the performance Mitchell describes exceeds what any single individual should possess without decades of specialized training across multiple disciplines. The breadth of expertise suggests educational background and operational experience that few people accumulate during normal military careers. Coleman recognizes that the competence levels Mitchell describes exceed her own capabilities. Despite years of combat experience and specialized training, the combination of technical knowledge and tactical expertise suggests someone with a background that remains unexplained. Furthermore, Mitchell adds, this performance was achieved by someone whose physical characteristics initially suggested potential limitations in handling the assessment's demanding requirements. The Rangers begin understanding that Mitchell's comments refer to the mysterious participant who confounded expectations throughout every phase of the evaluation. The small figure who appeared so unlikely to succeed has apparently achieved the highest performance levels in assessment history. Powell processes this information with growing amazement, recognizing that his observations throughout the assessment were capturing something extraordinary rather than merely unusual. The mysterious participant's consistent competence now appears as exceptional achievement rather than surprising adequacy. Rodriguez recalls specific moments during the assessment when the small figure's performance exceeded her expectations, realizing that she was witnessing professional-level competence across disciplines that require extensive specialized training to master. At this point, I'm going to ask Captain Emma Lawson to address the group directly, Mitchell announces, using a name and rank that none of the Rangers have heard before. The mysterious figure rises from the table with fluid precision, and for the first time since the assessment began, addresses the group with the kind of authoritative presence that suggests senior command experience. My name is Captain Emma Lawson, she begins, her voice carrying quiet authority that commands immediate attention. For the past 3 years, I've served as a deep cover intelligence operative in environments where survival depended on maintaining civilian cover while executing military objectives. The revelation hits the assembled Rangers like a physical force, explaining everything they observed while raising entirely new questions about the nature of Lawson's background and experience. Deep cover operations require capabilities that few military personnel ever develop. Thompson realizes he's been witnessing someone whose training encompasses multiple specialized disciplines by necessity rather than choice. Deep cover operatives must possess technical knowledge, spanning everything from medical procedures to explosive devices to tactical operations, all while maintaining civilian appearances. Martinez understands that Lawson's small frame and unassuming appearance weren't limitations to overcome but carefully cultivated assets that allowed her to operate undetected in hostile environments. physical characteristics that seemed like disadvantages were actually operational advantages. My previous assignment required infiltrating terrorist networks in urban environments where my cover identity was a medical student studying abroad, Lawson explains. Maintaining that cover while gathering intelligence and executing targeted operations demanded skills across multiple disciplines. Chen recognizes that the breadth of technical knowledge Lawson demonstrated reflects the operational requirements of deep cover work, where agents must be self-sufficient across disciplines that normally require specialized support teams. Coleman realizes that Lawson's tactical competence results from operating alone in hostile environments, where mistakes mean death and where backup support doesn't exist. The kind of pressure that creates capabilities exceeding normal military training parameters. The medical knowledge you observed comes from actual medical school coursework completed as part of my cover identity, Lawson continues. The explosive ordnance expertise developed through operations targeting terrorist bomb-making facilities. The tactical skills evolved through survival in environments where discovery meant torture and execution. Powell understands that he's been observing someone whose capabilities developed through operational necessity rather than conventional military training pathways. Deep cover operations create requirements that exceed normal specialization boundaries. Rodriguez recognizes that Lawson's systematic approach to every challenge reflects the methodical thinking required for maintaining cover identities while executing complex operations. The calm demeanor results from operating under pressure that exceeds anything assessment scenarios can replicate. My current assignment involves evaluating Ranger training programs to identify potential candidates for deep cover operations, Lawson explains. This assessment provided an opportunity to observe elite operators under stress while simultaneously testing whether my civilian cover techniques remain effective. The Rangers realize they've been unknowingly participating in a selection process for operations they didn't know existed. Lawson's presence wasn't about completing Ranger assessment, but about evaluating them for recruitment into intelligence operations requiring capabilities beyond conventional Special Forces training. Thompson recognizes that his assumptions about physical capability and military effectiveness have been challenged by encountering someone whose strength comes from sources he never considered. True operational competence sometimes develops through pathways that conventional military thinking doesn't recognize. Martinez understands that her own training, while extensive, represents specialization within traditional military boundaries. Lawson's capabilities span disciplines that require thinking beyond conventional operational categories, demanding adaptability that few people ever develop. The sniper badge you mentioned seeing earlier, Lawson says, reaching into her collar to reveal a small insignia barely visible and less specifically examined, represents qualification as a precision marksman for targeted elimination operations in urban environments where conventional military approaches aren't applicable. The badge confirms what the Rangers observed but couldn't explain: professional-level marksmanship competence that exceeded normal training standards. The insignia represents qualification in operations that exist outside conventional military structures. Chen realizes that everything he observed makes sense when viewed through the lens of intelligence operations, rather than conventional military assessment. Lawson's capabilities reflect operational requirements that demand excellence across multiple disciplines simultaneously. Coleman understands that her own combat experience, while extensive, operates within conventional military frameworks that provide support structures and specialized teams. Lawson's background required developing individual capabilities that span multiple specializations. Your performance during this assessment has been evaluated not just for Ranger qualification, but for potential recruitment into operations where conventional military structure doesn't apply, Lawson explains. Some of you have demonstrated capabilities that suggest suitability for intelligence work requiring extended independent operations. Powell realizes that his intelligence background may have qualified him for consideration for operations he didn't know existed. The assessment was simultaneously evaluating conventional military capabilities and identifying individuals with potential for unconventional operational roles. Rodriguez understands that her reconnaissance skills represent foundational capabilities that could be developed into intelligence operations requiring extended independent deployment in hostile environments. The assessment identified potential rather than just current competence. The lesson here isn't about judging capability based on physical appearance, Lawson concludes. It's about recognizing that true operational competence develops through pathways that conventional thinking doesn't always anticipate. Excellence comes in many forms, and the most dangerous operators are often those who challenge your assumptions about strength, skill, and capability. The debrief continues with individual performance evaluations, but the Rangers' understanding of military excellence has been fundamentally altered. They've witnessed capabilities that challenge conventional wisdom about physical requirements, training pathways, and the relationship between appearance and competence. Thompson receives high marks for physical performance and leadership potential, with recommendations for advanced training in tactical command roles. His assessment includes observations about adapting leadership style to accommodate diverse team capabilities rather than relying solely on physical presence. Martinez earns recognition for her systematic approach and technical competence, with suggestions for developing broader tactical knowledge to complement her mountain warfare expertise. Her evaluation emphasizes building on existing strengths while expanding operational versatility. Chen receives commendation for his analytical thinking and technical problem-solving abilities, with recommendations for developing more intuitive decision-making skills to complement his systematic approach. His assessment suggests potential for roles requiring technical expertise combined with tactical application. Coleman earns high marks across all categories, with particular recognition for her combat experience and urban warfare capabilities. Her evaluation includes recommendations for advanced tactical leadership training and potential consideration for specialized operations. Powell receives recognition for his intelligence background and analytical capabilities, with specific recommendations for advanced training in operations requiring extended independent deployment. His assessment suggests strong potential for intelligence roles requiring conventional military skills. Rodriguez earns commendation for her reconnaissance expertise and systematic information gathering capabilities. Her evaluation includes recommendations for developing broader tactical knowledge while maintaining her specialty in surveillance and reconnaissance operations. As the assessment concludes, 18 Rangers leave with enhanced understanding of their own capabilities and new perspectives on military excellence. They've witnessed performance that challenges fundamental assumptions about strength, skill, and the nature of true operational competence. Captain Emma Lawson returns to her cover identity, preparing for her next assignment while carrying knowledge about Ranger capabilities that will inform future recruitment for operations requiring exceptional individuals willing to operate beyond conventional military boundaries. The assessment has ended, but its lessons extend far beyond individual performance evaluations. True capability often comes disguised in packages that challenge expectations, and the most dangerous assumptions are those about what constitutes strength, skill, and military excellence. In a world where threats constantly evolve and operational requirements exceed conventional thinking, success belongs to those who recognize that appearances can be the most effective form of deception, and that genuine capability often hides behind the most unassuming facades. The small frame that drew laughter at the beginning carried competence that exceeded everyone's expectations, proving that true strength comes not from physical presence but from the depth of training, breadth of experience, and character forged through trials that most people never face. Excellence, it turns out, doesn't always announce itself with obvious indicators. Sometimes it walks quietly onto training grounds, maintains humble composure under pressure, and demonstrates through action rather than appearance that capability and character matter more than size, strength, or any other superficial characteristic that catches the eye. On Carrier. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hits the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.